week 7 of the North Pole Village QAL, and we're going to talk about how to add fabric applique snowflakes to your North Pole Village quilt. So come on in and join me. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jennifer Long from Sew a Story. I can barely believe that it's week 7 already of the North Pole Village Quilt-along, and this week is all about the snowflake fabric appliques. So if you've ever done raw edge applique before, or maybe this is your first time, you'll still want to join in on this quilt, even if you haven't been doing this quilt along with us, because you can add snowflakes to anything that you want, really. It's so fun. So let's do this together. A few things that I want to talk about first that are imperative. You don't need a cutting machine. You can do this by hand. I'm going to show you an option with a cutting machine. But you do need the pattern. So the pattern is North Pole Village Quilt-along. In this pattern, on the first page, there's information about how to optional machine embroidery, optional hand embroidery. There's download codes in here for downloading your SVG cut files or just the templates that you need. Once you have that, you're going to take your white fabric. I'm actually using a basic from Riley Blake Designs. It's called Dapple Dot, and it's white on white. So I don't know if you can see, but it has a very tiny texture of like white dots. So it looks like sparkly snow. And I've fused the back of it. It kind of feels like paper. I've fused the back to this. It's called Light Sewable Heat and Bond. It's an iron-on adhesive, and I always like the light or the extra light, especially when I'm like quilting this through my long arm quilting machine. So do make sure that you do that. I have cut mine into squares so that it can fit inside my cutting machine, but you don't have to. You can do it on a larger piece. Before you put it on here, so if you're going to do it by hand, you're going to want to trace on the paper side. So on the paper side, before it's fused to the fabric, you're going to want to put it down. You can use a light box if you want, and you're going to trace your snowflakes by hand. The templates are there. Then you're going to follow the manufacturer's directions on the back and remove the paper on that side. Not yet. There's like a bumpy side to it. You're going to fuse that side to the wrong side of your fabric. And then you'll just simply cut out on those lines to have your snowflake. If you're doing it with a Cricut or some kind of other cutting machine, you'll back your fabric with that fusible web so it feels like paper. Leave the paper on. And a couple things to remember. So you want to make sure that you have the cutting mat that is made for fabric. Mine is in this pink, and it just means that it's actually a little less sticky. You don't want it to pull so hard away and actually like destroy your fabric or stretch it out when you're coming it out. So make sure you do have a board that is less sticky and is designed for fabric. The second thing you want to make sure is that you do have a rotary cutter in your cutting machine. So, and then you'll have the setting to cotton backed with fusible web. So there's a couple of things that you should just make sure that before you cut, and then you'll just have to also tell it how big. So this one is 10 by 10. So I'll just have to make sure that when I put it through my cutting machine that it knows that it's not 12 by 12, that it is 10 by 10. Or I can lay them out in there myself. All right. Once you have them all cut out, they are going to look like this. So they are going to be just like cute, adorable snowflakes. There are 3 different kinds, and they have paper backing on them, which makes them like easy to cut, both with the machine or for you. Then I just fold over one corner, and then the paper comes off just like this. So I'm just going to gently pull away all of that paper so it shows the shiny side. And I'm going to take that over, obviously not hanging on my wall. I'll take it over to my ironing station and I will just place these randomly wherever I want on my quilt. So I'm going to place them, here. I have a couple here. My background is very, very light too, so you have to kind of come really close, which I don't mind, but we're going to add some sparkle to it next week. So you're going to want to make sure you just add them to wherever you want them all over. They can even overlap on a house. That would be super cute, coming down, and press them. Now, we talked a little bit about this early in the sew along, but I want to talk about it again here, is fusing it is great. It's not enough if you want a quilt that's going to get used. So definitely not if you're going to wash it. But even if you plan on just having this hanging, but there's going to be children playing with it, you do want to fix it somehow. So you can do either a blanket stitch, like a very small blanket stitch on your machine. You can do a hand whip stitch if you want to on them. You can just do like a sewing illustration. So you can just do a single shortened stitch length and just sew around the perimeter once or twice around. And a little tip and trick when you're sewing something that has a lot of different turns and curves, I chain my machine so that it's like in the needle down position. And when it's in the needle down position, when I come to the corner, I just stop my machine and the needle stays down. Then I can lift up, I just have to lift up my foot actually, and the presser foot lifts up. Then I just rotate it and I can continue sewing it. And at the next curve, I can just stop, the needle stops down, and I can just keep rotating. That way it gets this nice, smooth stitches, especially if you're doing a straight stitch around everything. And I do like to shorten my stitch length, especially for these small pieces, so that I have lots of ability to turn. So there's my little tips and tricks for sewing that. And you can add as many or as little. It could be a blizzard if you want to. So you can make it into a great big blizzard and have all of the like many snowflakes as you want, or just a few, just a light snowfall. So I'll let you decide on that. I can't wait to see what you're doing. And then next week we're going to come back and talk about quilting and final embellishments. So you won't want to miss this sparkle paste that we're going to be adding to the quilt at the very end. So I'll see you again next week for our final wrap-up week of the North Pole Village Quilt Along, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your week. Bye for now.